Gosh, this is bad, 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 bad.
We heard about, and so again, we're just forthcoming with anything that the league is able to do investigation-wise.
It's got everything to do with the Angel Reese fake racial hoax, because we heard from Angel Reese today, and we heard from Tyler Marsh. Tyler Marsh, folks, let's send our best wishes to Tyler Marsh.
I didn't hear about this thing until y'all heard about it. How is you the head coach? You didn't hear about anything because nothing ever happened. He just closed the investigation. He just destroyed it.
There's no room or space in our game for hate, and so we're complying with everything that's been going on.
And what does this have to do with the Angel Reese fake racial hoax? Well,
you thought the firestorm was loud before. It just got flipped on its head, and no one saw this coming. For days, Angel Reese was painted as the villain. She was booed, bashed, accused of playing the race card. But now, the silence is broken. Chicago Sky assistant coach Tyler Marsh just stepped up, and what he didn't say speaks louder than anything Angel's critics ever screamed. Here's what nobody's talking about. While the internet was busy dragging Reese, while talking heads were calling her classless and emotional, the people closest to her own team, stayed quiet. And in that silence, the narrative ran wild. So when Coach Marsh finally spoke, everyone expected a PR clean, watered-down defense. Instead, he gave them nothing. "I found out when everyone else did," he said. Deadpan, boom. That one sentence exposed everything. It wasn't coordinated. It wasn't some master plan to stir up controversy. It was real, raw. A 22-year-old under the brightest lights in women's basketball dealing with racism, alone. The media wanted a scandal. What they got was silence. And that silence? It spoke volumes about how isolated Angel Reese really is. Right now, because when a young black woman in sports gets harassed, the world doesn't ask why. It asks, did she deserve it? And when her coach doesn't even get looped in, that's not just messy, that's institutional apathy. The WNBA loves to market players like Angel Reese when it's profitable, the trash talk, the flash, the rivalry. But when the backlash hits, crickets. Where was the league? Where were the statements? More importantly, where was the support? This isn't just about one moment, one comment, or one crowd. It's about a league that still hasn't figured out how to protect its stars when it matters most. So now the question's not, is Angel Reese overreacting? It's, why was she the only one reacting at all? And if this is how silence works, in the W, you won't believe who speaks next. It was supposed to be just another Caitlin Clark blowout. Instead, it sparked one of the most explosive controversies the WNBA has ever seen. The Chicago Sky got cooked. Angel Reese struggled. Caitlin Clark dropped 11 in the fourth like it was personal. But the real drama didn't hit until the final buzzer. That's when Angel claimed she was racially harassed by Indiana fans. And just like that, the internet lit up like a wildfire. Let's rewind. Fever versus Sky. May 18th. Caitlin's team was up by 22. The building was buzzing. But it wasn't just about basketball anymore. You could feel the tension. Angel Reese was getting booed every time she touched the ball. The energy? Ugly. Then came the tweet. Reese told the world exactly what went down in that arena. Suddenly, every sports show, every podcast, every timeline was locked in. ESPN anchors clutched their pearls. TikTok was ready to cancel the entire city of Indianapolis. Tweets were flying. Ban those fans. Suspend the arena. Protect Angel at all costs. The WNBA responded fast. Too fast, maybe. They launched an investigation before most fans even saw the game highlights. This wasn't just drama. It was starting to look like a league-defining moment. And in the middle of it all, Angel Reese, the face of Gen Z basketball, standing tall, unapologetic, and alone. But then, boom, Tyler Marsh. That quiet little quote from her own coach. "I found out when everyone else did." Wait, what? You're telling me she was allegedly harassed in front of thousands and her own team didn't notice? Now it's messy. Now, people are backpedaling. Now it's not so black and white anymore. Was the crowd actually out of line? Or did everyone just run with a headline and call it justice? Because if Angel Reese lit the match, it was the media that poured gasoline. And trust, the fallout is far from over. One quote, just one, and it nuked the entire narrative. Tyler Marsh wasn't angry, he wasn't defensive, he was confused, and somehow that made it way worse. Picture this, the internet is on. Fire, ESPN is mid-think piece. The WNBA is running an official investigation. And then Angel Reese's own head coach steps up to the mic and drops this. I think I found out when everyone else did. Excuse me? You found out from Twitter like the rest of us? You're the head coach. Courtside. Game face on. Supposed to be locked in. And you missed alleged racial harassment happening to your star player right in front of you. That's not just a plot twist. That's a plot collapse. Weeks of speculation, erased with one line of polite confusion. Social media hit pause. TikTok was like, "You serious, RN?" SpongeBob blinking GIFs everywhere. Because if Marsh didn't see it, hear, or even sense it, then what are we even doing here? Let's break it down. He didn't file a report. He didn't confront the refs. He didn't pull Angel aside mid-game. He found out after the headlines, just like the rest of us. Now it's spiraling. This wasn't just a media frenzy. It was a one-sided game of telephone. One person says it happened. Everyone else assumes it's true. And suddenly it's front-page news with zero witnesses, no video, and the main authority figure basically shrugging like, that's wild. So here's the uncomfortable question. If no one on the team saw it, if the coach didn't clock it, if it wasn't caught on a single broadcast camera, did it even happen? Or did we all just get played by the power of a viral moment? Because when a scandal gets this loud, and the guy in charge didn't even hear the first whisper, you gotta start asking who's writing the story, and who's just reading the script. Caitlin Clark didn't just win the game. She hijacked the entire WNBA narrative. Triple-double, historic debut, national headlines. And suddenly, boom, the Angel Reese racism allegations drop right after her team gets cooked. Coincidence? Or a calculated distraction from the absolute? Clinic Clark just unleashed. Let's be real. Caitlin Clark made the WNBA relevant again. We're talking logo threes like it's warm-up shots, court vision like she's Neo in the Matrix, and the kind of swagger that makes ESPN anchor a full segment just to break down her stare-downs. She dropped 30 on the sky and walked off like it was just cardio. Meanwhile, Reese and crew looked shook, and that's when things got messy. The very next news cycle wasn't about the game. It wasn't about Clark's stat line or the Fever finally getting a statement win. It was about the crowd, about supposed racial abuse. Suddenly, Angel Reese wasn't trending for getting dropped off on defense. She was trending as a victim. People started asking, was this a real issue or was it a smoke bomb? Because the timeline doesn't lie. Clark cooks, Reese struggles. And instead of talking basketball, we're in full-blown scandal mode. Fan tweets weren't subtle either. Caitlin dropped 30 and now everyone mad? She's not racist, she's just better. And that's the uncomfortable part. Because if this was really about racism, it deserved to be front page. But if it was just cover for a brutal L on national TV, that's dirty game. This is where the rivalry stops being just on the court. Now it's about narratives, reputation, and who controls the spotlight. Clark may be winning games, but is Reese trying to win the war for public perception? Because if so, this rivalry just hit a whole new level. She used to own the villain role, now she's asking for sympathy. So which one is it? The hero in disguise, or the master of the spin? Angel Reese built her brand on being unapologetic, unbothered, and undeniably bold. But lately, something's changed. Every time the spotlight turns critical, suddenly she's the one being wronged. Let's rewind to LSU. Caitlin Clark, the title game. Angel didn't just beat her, she taunted her. "You can't see me." The finger point, the crown tap. She looked right at the cameras and said, "I'll take the villain role. I'll wear it proudly." And we believed her. She was the heel the sport needed. Cocky, dominant, marketable. She brought WWE-level energy to women's hoops and made people pick a side. But now, the vibe is different. After every loss, every call that doesn't go her way, every headline that praises Caitlin, there's a new deflection. Unfair fouls, racism, favoritism. One week she's calling herself the most hated. The next, she's suggesting Caitlin gets star treatment because she's white. It's the controversy to victim pipeline, and people are noticing. Even RG3 said she had hate on her face during that Fever matchup. Social media's split. Half say she's standing up against bias, the other half say she's playing victim to dodge accountability. So here's the real question. Is Angel Reese misunderstood in a league still figuring out how to market black femininity and confidence? Or is she strategically leaning into outrage, using identity as a shield when the scoreboard doesn't back her up? Because the second you wear the villain crown, you don't get to toss it the moment it feels heavy. The audience remembers. And the league is watching, victim or villain. The answer might depend on who's holding the mic, or who just got cooked on the court. So let me get this straight. A racist incident happened on live TV, in front of 18,000 fans, with dozens of cameras, and nobody saw it. Angel Reese made a serious accusation, racism from the Indiana crowd. But here's where it starts falling apart. No footage, no audio, no security reports. Not even a raised eyebrow from the coaching staff. It's not just suspicious, it's statistically wild. Let's do the math. This wasn't some pickup game in a back alley gym. This was a nationally televised WNBA showdown. Mic'd up players, courtside broadcasters, and camera crews zoomed in on every bead of sweat. And yet, not one ref stopped the game. Not one coach flagged anything. Not one reporter heard it. And security? Silent. So nobody caught the slurs? Not even the hot mics that pick up sneaker squeaks and bench gossip? Where was the sideline chaos? The players storming off? The league alert? The technical foul? The arena lockdown? Out of 18,000 people in Gainbridge Fieldhouse, 0 complaints? Be for real. Fans on Reddit were quick to call it out. Where's the footage? How did the coach not know? If this happened, it'd be everywhere by now. Even the WNBA, who immediately launched an investigation, came back with nothing concrete. And the biggest red flag? Tyler Marsh, Reese's own head coach, literally said, "I think I found out when everyone else did." Excuse me? So the EIE, man paid to watch every second of the game, to defend his players, to challenge refs, had no clue. That's not just a credibility gap, that's a collapse. Because when you claim racism in a pro arena and nobody backs it up, not cameras, not colleagues, not clips, you better expect people to ask questions. Receipts run the game now, and when the math ain't mathin', the court of public opinion flips fast. Next up, the media cleanup job, and how the league tried to walk this all the way back. Caitlin Clark drops 30 and breaks records. Angel Reese drops a quote and breaks the internet. Different stats, same spotlight. Here's the part no one wants to admit. In today's WNBA, controversy pays. Drama doesn't just trend, it translates into followers, brand deals, and power. And Angel Reese? She's not just playing basketball, she's playing the media like a seasoned vet. Since her LSU days, Angel's been in the headlines more for her mouth than her moves. From the "you can't see me" taunt, to the locker room quotes, to now, racial harassment allegations with no evidence. Every time the world talks Caitlin's stats, Angel drops a headline. It's a formula now. Caitlin shines, Reese reacts. The media erupts, Reese trends, then boom, a new NIL deal, a viral interview, another 1 million followers, and let's be real, the numbers don't lie. Angel's off-court brand is thriving. Her press hits, endless. Her social media, exploding. Meanwhile, her actual game? Mid, decent, not dominant. Caitlin gets highlights, Angel gets headlines. That's not an insult, that's the blueprint. Because when the scoreboard ain't in your favor, the algorithm might be. And Reese knows it. She's made herself the main character, controversy after controversy. Not because she's winning, but because she's unignorable. This isn't just basketball, it's branding. And drama is the product. So while Clark rewrites WNBA history, Reese rewrites the rules of relevance. She's not chasing MVP votes, she's chasing clicks. And honestly, it's working. But here's the catch. When your game is headlines, the moment the media moves on, what's left? At first, everyone was listening. Now, they're side-eyeing, hard. The internet moves fast, but it doesn't forget. And after weeks of defending Angel Reese, fans are flipping the script. The receipts are rolling in, and people aren't buying what she's selling anymore. Scroll through TikTok, Reddit, or YouTube right now, and you'll feel the shift. Not from haters, from day one supporters. People who were riding for Angel, now calling cap. This ain't it, Angel. I'm not even a Clark fan, but this is wild. Coach Marsh just ended this narrative. That last one, yeah, that quote where her own coach says he didn't see or hear anything. That was the turning point, because fans aren't stupid. They've seen this before, the narrative spin, the victim playbook, the drama distractions. But in 2024, the audience is smarter. Gen Z grew up decoding clout chasing in real time. We can smell a storyline being manufactured from a mile away. This isn't about picking sides. It's about realness versus reach, authenticity versus agenda. Angel's story had people emotional, but now the vibes are off. The inconsistencies, the timing, the silence from people who should have backed her. It's adding up to one thing: a loss of trust. The fans who once amplified the drama, they're becoming the loudest voices questioning it. And in a league where every move is under a microscope, public perception is currency. Lose the crowd, and suddenly the clicks stop clicking. The narrative doesn't land. And the villain arc feels more like a performance than a persona. So now the real question isn't, was Angel right? It's, will fans keep following a story they no longer believe in? And what happens when controversy stops paying the bills? Let's be real. This rivalry, it's electric. But the narrative around it, starting to short circuit. We need Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. It's the kind of on-court smoke the WNBA has been craving for years. But when every hard foul turns into a headline, and every rivalry is framed as racial warfare, we lose the plot. And worse, we risk diluting the truth. Here's what no one wants to say out loud. Not every competitive moment is racism. Not every foul is an attack. Not every stare down is a symbol of oppression. Because when we throw around serious claims with zero receipts, it doesn't just hurt reputations. It buries real conversations about race under piles of clickbait noise. Yes, players of color face discrimination. Yes, the media can be biased. Yes, there's nuance. But when that nuance gets hijacked for drama, when a national stage becomes a press tour for unverified accusations, we've officially crossed into dangerous territory. Because suddenly, the conversation isn't about basketball. It's about damage control. It's not Reese versus Clark on the hardwood. It's he said, she said in the headlines. Meanwhile, some of the greatest WNBA rivalries in history, Lisa versus Tina, DT versus Catchings, were settled with buckets, trash talk, elbows, and fourth-quarter grit. Not IG lives and Twitter threads. The Reese-Clark rivalry could be that next chapter. It already has the fire, the fandom, the history. But if we keep steering the storyline away from the court, we're robbing it of what makes it legendary. This isn't about silencing anyone. It's about protecting the integrity of real issues and letting the game speak louder than the spin. So yeah, The rivalry is real. But if the racism narrative collapses under scrutiny, what's left? Hopefully, just two generational athletes battling for greatness. And honestly, isn't that enough?